Hey, welcome to Jeff's Unknown. Oh, yeah. I hope you had a great summer. We're going to have a lot of things happening new to this page. So I've decided that, ladies and gents, I'm going to be starting to do, boy, it's lagging. Hold on, let me fix the computer. There you go. Hope it's not lagging too much. There's one person on. All right. Kunui, salut toi. As you know, I'm based out of Montreal. So obviously, there are a lot of people in my Francophone followers. Listen, I've been doing paranormal on the radio, podcasts for 4 years in the Francophone world. And I am going to tell you, it was amazing. But now I'm going to concentrate a lot on the Anglophone. I really want to work on this page. I really want to get into a lot of what I am doing now. I want to get into interviews. I want to get into storytelling. I want to venture off into all the four corners of the paranormal. Oh, yeah. Last year I said, look, I'm going to try it. Last season, like the beginning of this year of 2026. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to start my English podcast and stuff, and I'm going to see how far it goes. And so far, look, we all start from somewhere, right? I don't buy my subscribers. I don't, this is really starting from scratch. And look, I'll tell you, it's been not bad. Look, it's not the greatest. Of course, when you start something new, especially when you have to start all over, nobody likes starting over. I don't like starting all over. I just want to go back and, because when I do it in French, like I have like about 100 and some odd people per live. And I have a lot of views because I'm on different pages. But this one, I'm concentrating just on YouTube. And so here he goes. We got, me, myself, and myself. We have new projects coming up. I am going to start getting people to come and interview them. I am going to work on my new project. I worked it on French a bit. It's a little harder than I anticipated, so it's going to take a little more time, but it's called The Architects. And it's basically my point of view on aliens and experiencers, and a little bit about my visions I've been having, and a little bit of my personal beliefs, and I'm just going to throw it into a capsule in English too, and in French. And there you go. We're going to see how far that goes. I really want people to see my perspective. And I'm not here. Remember, we're not here. I'm never in the absolute. Okay. There is no such thing as absolute truth. Okay. There is absolutely not. It does not exist. And if you come and tell me and say, hey, Jeff, no, it's this. No, I'm sorry. Because paranormal, and in the paranormal realm, it's always been the person itself, because four people can have the same experience but completely different feeling, knowing. Even some people can have the same experience. Listen, I remember when I went to my cousin's birthday. Birthday. Why am I saying birthday? I think I'm thinking 5 steps ahead of me. His wedding. Big difference between. So I went to, and this was in the town of Lachine. So Montreal, if you don't know what Montreal is, it's a big island, and there's boroughs, right? And there's the borough of Lachine. And if you want to know what Lachine means, it means the China, because since 16 something, remember when the Europeans came, so they called that land Lachine. So thinking that maybe it was China, but it wasn't. So it's a very old place, but that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to explain. But just because some people are like, oh, that's good to know. Like, why do you call it Lachine? So I was in the borough of Lachine, and I was on the side of the water because obviously Montreal is a big island, right? And so I'm there with my wife. There you go. Oh, it froze. What the hell happened here? What the hell happened? Hello, 1, 2. Mm. Okay, that's kind of crazy. Whoa, creepy. Hello. Okay. Oh, that was weird. I'm talking about conspiracy. It's lagging, isn't it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm very sorry if it lagged. Hold on, let me see some messages here. There's some of you here. Hey, Bith Arrow 675. What's up? Listen, okay. I'm sorry about that before. It lags. I don't know why, but I'm gonna have to get a new computer, so don't worry about it. You gotta be patient with me, okay? So, anyways, to go back to the story. I hope it doesn't freeze. All right. So I'm in Lachine. I'm at my cousin's wedding. And there's a lot of people. Like my cousin there, you knew a lot of people. And it was in summer. It was very hot. So they had the big terrace in the back. And so my wife and I came out, took some air, and then all of a sudden, and it was a very low cloud. It was hot, sticky. It looked like it was going to rain, so the clouds were very thick and low. And I remember everybody was like, hey, look upstairs, look up there, look up there. I'm like, whoa, 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 what's going on? My wife's looking and she goes, hey, look, I look. And all of a sudden I see something up there. And I'm telling you, I know the difference between a drone, a plane, and this wasn't a drone. Drones didn't exist in 2016 as they are today. So and for sure, it wasn't a drone because it wasn't making a noise and it was spinning type thing. It was weird. It was very hard to see, but underneath I could see little ports of light, squares, rectangles. It looked like windows, but you couldn't see in. All you could see was like amber. It was like a burnt orange, amber, metallic color light that was resonating from there, from underneath. And I said, "Oh, that was interesting." And then by the time you grab your phone, but at that time there was flips. Okay, I had a flip. I took pictures. Forget about it. You can't see anything. And then I saw it like it was going towards downtown Montreal. And how I knew it was an object that was very low is because it was just underneath the clouds, and the clouds were very low. So, and it was going right through it. So I said, that's definitely not a drone or anything because no, it was really not. And the reaction of having the same experience with other people on the terrace, and it was mind-boggling because when you look at it, you can clearly see wasn't a plane, wasn't this. So one guy next to me, and I remember I just wanted to slap him. He's like, "Oh, look, there's a drone. Oh yeah, look, they're saying hi to us." I'm like, "Are you serious?" But you see, but for him, that experience wasn't as enriching as in French we say enregistrement. Like it wasn't like enriching my emotion. Like, oh my god, this is it. I'm finally seeing something in the sky that's worth like talking about. And oh my god, that is a UFO. And oh my god, there's like so many emotions that I was going through. My wife was very indifferent. She was like, I'm like, what? So you see, so even though you have the same experience with other people don't seem to share that same feeling, the same just all types of stuff. And I remember once I was leaving my in-laws, and we were going, they live east, far like in the east. And I remember we were leaving, and then I saw something in the sky, and I stopped the car. I literally stopped the car and saw this glowing orb, same color, amber. It looked like it was like kind of like on fire, and it was just moving. I said, "Holy shit, that was something!" Because obviously it wasn't a plane, wasn't that? And then it happened again, and it happened again 3 times. And that same experience I had then, I had it with Bruce Schwartz. If you don't know who Bruce Schwartz is, God rest his soul now. He passed away, but he had an amazing page, which is Bruce Sees All. And when I went to his house, I actually got to see the same thing that passed on top of his house. So you know what? That was something. But again, having that experience was different. So when you're surrounded by people with the same experience, people react differently. So that's why the paranormal is very different for everybody. That's why you can never be in the absolute. You can't turn around and say, this is what it is. Like one of those conspiracy theorists, saying, we're all going to die. No, it's not that. So that's why with me, if you're new to this page or you want to get to know me better because you haven't seen my French content, I'm just telling you, we're going to start by exploring the four corners of the universe. Yeah, of the universe, of the universe of the unknown, and it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that's we're stuck with each other. And you know what? Look, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people doing paranormal shit. I know a lot of people are out there and they're making it all look, oh my God, it's nice and it's all Hollywood type thing. I got inspired years ago listening to Coast to Coast with George Noory and before him, Art Bell. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because you really maybe are maybe a newbie to the whole paranormal world, but it's okay. Welcome. We don't listen. You don't have to be an experiencer. You don't have to have tons of experience. You might have nothing at all. You might be a very well articulated skeptic and turn around and say, I don't believe all this crap and this doesn't happen. No, listen, it's okay. I mean, we have to be. And listen, there are some people that says, I want to believe. So look, you can come on, take your own assessment, believe whatever you want to believe. But for sure, I'm never going to tell you what you should think, because I'm telling you, like I said, everything is different for me, you, and anybody else who tends to look at it as like a taboo. Because I remember back when I was listening to Art Bell and George Noory, because he took over, George Knapp. If you don't know who George Knapp is, he was the reporter that interviewed Bob Lazar. I love George Knapp. I think he is one. I would love to interview him. He is very well spoken and very nice to talk to. And every interview I've heard of him, or when he is on the radio, he has such a nice way and very, very soft way of approaching anything. So when I was listening to that talk radio about paranormal, I said, you know what? I want to keep it that way. I want to be in the alive category. I don't want to be in the fugazi and make it all, oh my God, it's so nice. But listen, no, I want it raw. I want sometimes it to glitch. I want somebody to say, oh God, hey, what's up? I want people to know that this is organic and just pure. And I know, like I said, there's like 10,000 people who's doing all paranormal and stuff. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to explore as hard as I can, far as I can. And it's up to you guys. It's really up to you. You have to take that and bring it in and just like dissect it and just take it your own view. I mean, listen, I'll tell you one thing. I'm sorry, I'm just very thirsty and very tired. I am on vacation. I'm coming to the end of my vacation. I'm exhausted. I tell you, like, I had a buddy come over yesterday, and I'm telling you, we really got into the conversation, beer, cigars, and I'm exhausted. But I said, no, I'm gonna start building up this page. So sorry, I have to drink. Oh, lemonade, by the way. Thank you. So when you look at that and you tend to realize, it's like, wow, there's so many things happening today. There's so many interesting things that are happening today. Like the UFO disclosures. Now, look, there's nothing that the government is going to give you that you don't know already. There's nothing that they're going to give you that you don't know already. Some people need that validation. Some people need that the government says, okay, but they'll never say, yes, it exists, because aerial phenomena, that's why they even changed it from unidentified flying objects to unidentified aerial phenomenon, because it's not only ships, it's like plasma, it could be all types of aerial phenomenon. So basically, when the United States says, okay, we believe you, We know that what you saw was not normal. And even us, we don't know what it is. And here you go. And people look at that and they say, okay, how am I going to take that? Is it, did they say that, okay, these things are real and it's from outer space? Or they're just acknowledging the fact that these phenomenons had happened and they don't know what it is. So that still opens the door enough to say, okay, the Americans or the government, the American government is actually acknowledging the fact that identified flying objects and aerial phenomena are real, but they don't know what it is. Because you know as a fact that they can't come out publicly and tell you. They can't say, yes, they exist, because then you got bigger fish in the sea, metaphorically speaking, and saying, oh, you do? Oh, so you acknowledge the fact that there are intelligent life out there. And basically what we're trying to say is that you acquired that or possess that technology. Maybe not know 100%, like Bob Lazar said, like they still don't know half. And that was back in what, early 90s. So imagine today what they know. But even then, when you know that a particular country has a particular advantage when it comes to technology and whatever, that could cause friction. That could cause a world war. Because now officially the country that, or let's say the United States, says, hey, yeah, we are aware, and this, they are there. Whoa, what else do you know? Right? Because everything we do on this planet, and this is the problem with humanity, we like to weaponize everything. 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 Every single thing we do, we want to weaponize it and we want to monopolize it. You know? And just look at what we lived through the last 6 years. And don't tell me that the medical system didn't weaponize that. Your rights and freedoms. So you can't do this, you can't do that. You got to take this, you got to take that, can't do this. And what about all these unnecessary wars that we're living and all the millions and billions of dollars that we spend on blowing the shit at each other instead of taking that, putting our differences aside and just focusing on space exploration, and maybe start working on betterizing. Wow, that's a good word, to better humanity by development and competition and explore the unknown. Because it's not like we're not there. We're there. We're there. Look, all of a sudden now, disclosure. They're sorry, it's cutting there. I don't know if the guy, my children are all on their tablets there, but it cut. I'm gonna have to fix that. So now there are all these people are looking at the government saying, okay, now they're talking about it openly. Now we're going to the moon, Artemis 2, Artemis 3, Artemis 4, or whatever, and they're all going there. We're there. We've passed that. Now we are in the space age. And this is what gets me a little bit concerned, because are we slowly getting closer to that moment where humanity and whoever they are, right, regardless of your beliefs, but the higher intelligence, because for sure this planet's been visited, for sure life exists elsewhere, that maybe we're preparing maybe to do that. But the thing is that, shit, we're not there yet. So what's happening? What's really happening? Because I saw that movie Disclosure Day. I don't know if you like, and tell me what you think about Disclosure Day in the comments. That movie. I watched the movie. I said, thank God I did not waste any money on this movie. Disclosure Day was the biggest disappointment I have ever seen. And I think one day I'll make a live just on that. But I find that was the biggest disappointment. And typical Hollywood. Hollywood today isn't the Hollywood of yesterday. Hey, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Remember that? Oh, wait, I think I have that. Just to put some ambience in here. Do I have that? Come on, where are you? Where are you? Of course, I can't find it. And when you looked at the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, here you go. It should work. The writers of the movie were amazing. Do you know why Close Encounters of the Third Kind was not just a movie but a documentary? It's because there were so many elements in that movie that actually made you think. The form of communication was sound, vibration, right? With sound and music, there's mathematical equations, the universal language of the universe, mathematics. So when I looked at the movie older, when I was like, not when I was young, but when I was older, I got to understand a little bit more about the movie and the development of the people who got chosen to be selected by those who wish to want them to come with them into space. And we look at experiencers, those that that I've interviewed. There's a lot of similarities, and there's so much. It's so many. It's so multi-layered. I love that. And this is what I think that people right now, what we got to do is look at it as a learning curve, and that not everybody has the same experience, and that's where I'm at right now. This is what I'm trying to do, is to talk about that, interview people, and make it raw, and just like, hey, let's talk about it. Because when I talk to all the experiencers that I interviewed, every single point of view was unique, and it wasn't similar to any other one, but there was something in common. They had a connection. It was unique, and there was some type of confliction among themselves, of asking themselves, what did I just experience, or what was that, and able to cope with that. And I think that's the hardest thing, is that people have a hard time associating with their experiences and their emotions, and how to overcome and understand them, and to bring forth maybe an understanding or a clarity, or maybe a development amongst themselves. Because not everybody by chance have been selected, because they're unique. Okay, you don't go and choose. I don't know, let's say an example, you're a scientist, and you want to study bugs, right? You're going to look at the bugs that are very interesting. You're not going to look at the boring bugs. You're going to look at those and are like, oh my god, look at those ants. Wow, they're really, wow, look at that. And you look at different types of humans. We all are all different on a different spectrum. And this is what's the beauty with humanity, is that we're able to understand that every one of us is different, and the universe in which we live in is so personal to each other. So it's personal to me, it's personal to you, and somewhere we can connect and share those experiences. So, and that's what we're going to do. So, ladies and gents, obviously, I'm not going to talk for long, because this was just a preliminary. It was just to tell you, listen, this season that's coming up, we're going to start in September. I'm going to have the date. It's going to come. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start structurizing the lives, getting some people to come and interview slowly. It's going to take a while. Look, you're going to see it. If you're here at the beginning now, right now, at this live, okay? If you're here right now and you're listening to this, you are being part of history. You're going to see it slowly grow. I'm going to try to get as many people as I can. And I just want to be as open and respectful and transparent as possible, because the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the respect in which you give. Okay. Everybody has a different expression. Everybody has a different point of view. Not all point of views are the same, and none of them should be classified together too as well. Every unique person has their own flavor and taste and color. Not bad, eh? So 2026, starting September, I don't know when. It should be maybe the second week. I'm going to try to have a live every week, constant, and one day only. So if I could choose a day and keep it that day every day until December, and see where it goes. And listen, it's up to you. I need your feedback. I need you guys to like it. Subscribe. Come on, guys. You got to subscribe. If you're not subscribing, let's go. And if you, and hey, listen, if you want to tell me where you're at, if you're from the States, from Canada, Europe, the moon, Mars, hey, what's up? Look, this is what the beauty of the future is. Television, it's okay. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is the future of learning and communicating and community. And like I told you, there's 5,000 other people you can choose. But I'm telling you, here, unique, fun, and nothing but awesomeness. Yeah, I'm going to try. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for what's coming up. I will announce them in advance. And like I said, it will be lives. So it's going to be live. There will be capsules of videos that I'm going to make. There is a project. It's taking me longer than I anticipated. So, but when it's done, it's called The Architects. It's really talking about all the from all the experiencers that I interviewed, my experience, my personal beliefs, and I'm going to put it together and I'm going to just give it to you guys, and you guys can take whatever you want from it. And I'm going to try to make it entertaining. I want people to enjoy it, but I also want people to think too. There could be things that you don't agree. That's okay. There's things that you may not understand. That's okay too. But like I said, I have a calling for that. Something's telling me to make it. And I think it's important. And I'm not doing it just for likes and loves and all this. I am really trying to get awareness of the stigma of people who feel alone, who may have visions, and who are feeling a sense of needs a connection between their experience and those who are skeptical, saying, wow, okay, I didn't understand it, but now, okay, I see it that point of view. Might not believe it, but I kind of respect it. You see? I mean, I've talked to people who are extremely close-minded, but at the end of the day, we both all can agree to disagree, but they say, well, it's very interesting, your thing. Good. There you go. Not every cup of tea is made for everybody. Some people just like a little more whiskey, and some people just like it completely plain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, baby. And like I said, I'm going to try to start working on a schedule, keeping this stuff real, and to continue providing a really good content. And don't forget to give me some of your feedback. What do you think? Let me know what you think, because I need that feedback. Because basically, if I'm doing lives and you're not there, I'm basically doing a live by myself. And it's because of you. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself. And that's true. So, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great one. And we'll see you soon. I always say we, because it's not just me, myself, and my ego, but it's you and I, because we are part of this. And that's what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great one. We'll see each other soon. Cheers.